Guys, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Darian, and today we are going to talk about my first trimester, because let me tell you, wasn't uneasy about it. Okay. I am currently almost 19 weeks. I'm in my second trimester. Things are much better, not quite as great as I was hoping, but still better. So if you are interested in learning all about my symptoms, when I found out I was pregnant, how I found out I was pregnant, and everything up until now, keep watching. Okay, so first things first. My husband and I decided last year that we were going to start trying for a baby in July of this year. At first it was November. Once we did the math, we realized I would be pregnant majority of the summer, and we both knew that probably wasn't going to work for me. We decided to go from beginning to try in November, which is now, to starting to try in July. Okay, so we were not surprised by our pregnancy. This was not a surprise quarantine pandemic baby, and there's absolutely positively nothing wrong with that at all, but that just wasn't the case with us. I was on birth control all of our marriage up until last September. I was on the pill, and so then we just did natural family planning. I tracked my ovulation, my fertile week, things like that. So in July we tried, and I knew I was pregnant before I even missed my period. So I found out I was pregnant very early on, probably 10 days post ovulation is when I got my first positive pregnancy test. So I was about 3.5 weeks when I confirmed that, yeah, I was pregnant. Being almost 19 weeks, it feels like I've been pregnant for forever. Very early found out I was pregnant 3.5 weeks in, and then confirmed everything with my doctor's office when I was about 6 weeks. So my first pregnancy symptoms that I had after my period missed, and by the way, during the week of that I was supposed to get my period, I did experience cramping, like my period was going to come on. So I was a little nervous. I took 8 pregnancy tests and all 8 of them were positive, and I still thought like maybe they were wrong because I still feel like I'm getting my period. My first symptoms were my breasts were really sore. So sore to the fact of like wearing a shirt was uncomfortable, sleeping on my stomach was uncomfortable, being brushed up against was very uncomfortable. They hurt, okay? It wasn't like a sore muscle, no, they hurt. And this started to happen around 4.5, 5 weeks. So about a couple of days after my missed period is when I started to notice that. I had no morning sickness. I didn't have constipation, anything like that until I hit 6 weeks. 6 weeks on the dot, that's when things started to get a little rough, okay? So I hit 6 weeks and I was very nauseous, throwing up, but I was also cramping really bad, because that's when, you know, your uterus is like, okay, we're pregnant, let's stretch, let's get things moving, and it hurt, okay? People be like, oh, it's mild cramping. It was not mild. I don't know if it's because my pain tolerance is about a -5, but that mess hurt. Like my husband would walk in the room and I'm laid out on the floor. It hurt, okay? That's any indication about contractions. As soon as I get to the hospital, they need to put the epidural in my back because that hurt, okay? That was the most painful. That was worse than period cramps by far. It was worse than period cramps. And that might not be your experience, but this is my experience. I remember telling my husband, I would rather be nauseous than have to deal with these cramps because that's how bad they hurt. That was the worst word. That was the worst thing I could have said, okay? Because my body heard me say that and it said, oh, you'd rather be nauseous than having cramps. Okay. So then my body went into overtime. I skipped morning sickness, okay, and went directly straight to severe nausea and vomiting, okay? And when I say severe, I I mean, for about, from the time I was about 6.5, 7 weeks up until about 3 weeks ago, I was throwing up. I was vomiting probably 4 to 8 times a day, multiple days a week. So far during my pregnancy, I've gained 2 pounds. So my weight loss is at about a net 28 pounds. But I went from 180 to about 147 in probably a month, because I couldn't keep anything down. I was constantly throwing up, and most of the time I was throwing up bile, I was throwing up foam, whatever was in my stomach to come up. Okay, and there is a condition for that. It is called Hyperemesis Gravidarum. So that is what I was diagnosed with. That is what I have. That is what I am taking medication to slow down. I knew something wasn't right because, first of all, I just Googled it. I literally just Googled, cannot keep anything down, thrown up multiple times a day, and HG came up. And HG is very rare. About 3% of pregnancies go through this, but it's so commonly misdiagnosed as morning sickness, and women just suffer through it. It's not morning sickness. Do not let people tell you it is morning sickness. It is not morning sickness. So many people told me, oh, it's morning sickness. It's just your body getting used to pregnancy. You'll get better. It'll be better as soon as you hit 12 weeks. All this other stuff. It's not morning sickness. I have never known anyone who suffers from normal morning sickness in the ER getting fluids. It's not morning sickness. I was still going physically to my job, so I was not working from home. I was working from home 2 days a week, which is like our company policy. But I was still traveling to and from work, and it was awful. It was dreadful. I loathed going to work. Those 3 days I had to drive to the office, and our office is 6 minutes away from my house. It was terrible. I would go to the office, probably be there for no more than 10 minutes before I was running to the bathroom throwing up, and it just triggered. I would be throwing up multiple times a day at work. I'd be throwing up multiple times a day at home. I finally reached out to my doctor when I was almost 9 weeks, because I was like, I need medicine. The medicine that I was on, I was doing like once, and then it would stop working, and then I'd do something else, and then it would stop working. So that was the first time I had to go to the ER to get fluids. They gave me fluids, they gave me medication, they had me drink some water, and I felt good for that weekend. The medication they prescribed me, at first it did work, but then it slowly started to wear off, and I just found myself kind of just struggling through, because at that point I was like, well, what else am I supposed to do besides just struggle through? So I found myself struggling through, still throwing up multiple times. Anyone who knows me knows, like, I'm so small now. I probably haven't been this small since I was like 18 or 19. And it came from throwing up and not being able to keep anything down. Whatever my body wanted is what I ate. So if I was craving Fruit Loops, I was eating Fruit Loops. If a tortilla sounded good, I was eating a tortilla. I was not worried about, is this healthy? Is this not healthy? Is this good for the baby? Is this not good for the baby? My mindset was, what can I get in my body that's going to stay in my body? Because my baby, what are you eating? What are you eating? If I'm not eating, what are you getting? Overall, my first trimester was very, very stressful. It just wasn't how I pictured it, I don't know if I was a naive little girl. I don't know. I thought to myself, you know what, Darian, you're going to get pregnant, you're going to be sick for a little bit, and then it's going to get better. It's going to be all sunshines and rainbows. Everyone's going to be, kind of happy and flourishing, and no. That's not what happened. The baby is fine. The baby is growing. The baby is thriving, darling. The baby is living its best life, okay? So, yeah, my first trimester was not ideal, but things are looking up. God has still been faithful. He's still good. He's still giving us a child that's thriving. That has been such a blessing. Currently, I am 19 weeks. I'll be 20 weeks the week after next Thursday. I'll be 20 weeks halfway done. Oh my gosh. Can't wait. I've gained 2 pounds in 2 weeks, which is pretty decent. That's really good for me because I was not gaining weight at all for 16 weeks. So that's really good for me. There's still some things I cannot eat, even on my medicine, that triggers my symptoms, but you know what? I can tear down some steak, so no complaints about that. I am starting to feel movement. I'm starting to feel little flutters, little whatever you want to call them, little butterflies, little fluttering here and there. It's not like a consistent kick, like I'm not feeling kicks or anything like that, but I am starting to feel little flutters, things like that. Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know what I was struggling with, any warning signs for anyone who might think they have Hyperemesis Gravidarum and might not be sure, anyone who's unsure if it's morning sickness or HG. If you have any questions, just leave them in a comment down below or message me on Instagram. I would love to help any ladies who are thinking they might have this. It's so annoying when people give their morning sickness suggestions, but from one HG mom to another, if you're experiencing this and you just don't know what to try or what might help you, I would love to help you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't boring. I hope it wasn't too gross, even though I don't think I said too much that was nasty, but I just hope you guys enjoyed this video and got some insight on how different people's pregnancies can look. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you would like to. I hope you guys have a very blessed day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in my next video.